Welcome back, everybody, to day 3 of the LCS Challengers League promotion tournament. We're here in the lower bracket where we have our first team at match point, and it's the Qualifier squad. Blue Otter taking the first game against our 10th seed from the NACL Mirage Alliance Cubby. We thought that this Mirage Alliance team had a good game plan in this first game draft, but starting from minute 1 and kind of projecting onward, it did not end up working the way that they wanted to.
This game was doomed early. Once the Ashe Kalista lane isn't able to continuously pressure bot side, Pyke got freed up to roam, denied Celigo ever getting into the game. Like, when you're trading Pyke Flash for Ariel, it really tells you how important it was for Blue Otter to take out mid. And when your Jax is a scaling pick in the jungle and already had a small lead given the level 2 first blood, I think it was a sound strategy. And Blue Otter put together a very clean game 1, and now we're 1 game away from moving ahead in the bracket.
Yeah, and already to see an NACL team at risk of getting eliminated this early on, it's a bit surprising, especially considering, they have the advantage of, missing out on that first round of play-in games that happened. And with the changes that Mirage Alliance made, we kept harking back to this. But you mentioned the experience that these guys have, not only just like throughout their entire careers, but just last split, it was Alorum, Dardoch, and Neo who just came into the team that promoted up with Mirage Alliance. All of a sudden, they're down here and all very challenged and are going to need to work their way back pretty hard and show off a lot of things that we did not see from them so far in this tournament.
Yeah, I do want to queue up the banned champions that we'll have in the next game because we are in Fearless Draft. But I like what you say, Grapes, and I feel like a lot of us going into this tournament, we just had an innate faith in Mirage Alliance and some of the names on this roster to actually pull things together. Because when you think about players of Alorum, Dardoch, I hold those players still in very high regard. And throwing in Neo, Celigo, who are coming off, in Neo's case, he was in Vietnam visiting family, I believe, this last split, which is why he couldn't compete. Celigo is still competing for Colorado Boulder right now. And I've thought highly of Celigo with even that wildcard roster just last year in Challengers League. Prismal back at support. When he was in support playing full-time, he was on my most valuable prospect list. I thought Prismal was killing it. Like, there was just an innate faith in these players that we would be able to see them actually be successful in this tournament. They've yet to put it together, and now we're at risk of not picking up a single game if they drop here. And that'd be a crime, because I want to see what this team has been working on to really pull things together and try and stay live in this tournament moving forward.
Well, if there is a team that's going to do it, it's going to be Mirage Alliance. There was a video that got released on the Path to LCS socials that I got to work on for Tier 3 tonight. We talked to Alorum about just like his success or maybe lack of in some of the teams that he's been a part of, and he said, I've been a part of a lot of losing orgs. He ended up name dropping them. I don't want to do that here on the broadcast, but basically, long story short, like this team, they have players who have that strong mental, and even if adversity is facing them, they have a good opportunity to come back. And it's all going to start right here. They need a win against Blue Otter. They have opted towards red side, and we'll see if they're going to be able to do it.
Yeah, and I will say that side selection, side swap, does matter quite a bit in Fearless Draft. I was talking to a lot of teams in best of fives how I feel red side is stronger early because you can save some of those blinds you might need later that you'll find on blue side. Mirage Alliance, though, choosing this after that loss. Maybe we'll see where the counter pick goes, because Alorum isn't a player, especially going into Lawrence, that I would expect needs a counter pick. So maybe trying to find a better mid lane matchup for Celigo, who really did struggle with all the pressure that was thrown his way. Once bot got behind, once jungle got behind, everything was thrown at Celigo, and some situations he didn't handle it the best. So we'll see what changes, but at the moment, the first change is that on red side, Mirage Alliance choose to ban Kalista. That does leave up the Hui, and that is first pick for Samikin.
I was looking through the pool. I saw that the Talia's taken off the board. The Zoe and the Orianna and the Azir were also banned. That is Samikin's main champion pool, except for this way, which has been able to pull out more specifically towards the second qualifier. And I think looked pretty good on it. He had a solid game on it in the semifinal series that Blue Water played against Ole Miss. They ended up losing, but Samikin very clearly has a good knowledge base of this champion. The response, though, will be the Nico for Mirage Alliance, and looks like we're going to see a lot of team fighting here in this game, Cubby.
I was going to talk about how Karma Zen is one way to play fast into Hui and really try and attack it, but Nico's another, and I will say that for Mirage Alliance, uniquely, this is a flex pick. Alorum can play at top, so something that if Blue Water have done their homework, they should be expecting. I think that this will default to mid for Celigo, but if they pick a poor matchup top, it could reach down into the pool and find another champ for Celigo, because I think Blue Water is going to throw out any more mid lane bans. But that being said, Jinx locked in for Neo. Really good way to hold the line already with Nico being locked for Mirage Alliance. the answer will be Aphelios, and this could be that game where you bust out the Nautilus. Nautilus is a very high prio pick. You get one game of Nautilus each in this format, given it's Fearless. So I expect that to come out here for Rovex.
Hovering the Morgana, which might be a good answer into the Nautilus, actually, and instead, eventually looking for some Enchanters, but no, it's the OP support that we've been seeing even B1'd as recently as yesterday in the promotion tournament. So it seems like these teams have a very high prio on it. I do want to hark back to the Jinx that Neo picks up. This is something that he actually played a lot of in the summer split with the original Mirage Alliance roster, and I talked to Norm a little bit, their GM, about what he thought these changes could mean for this team come promotion time, and he said, hey, with the new patch, these crit marksmen are right up Neo's alley, and it seems to be what Mirage is going to try to go for, at least in this game, to stay alive.
And you have Braum to try and hold the line with the Jinx. I like this pick in the Nautilus. I think the one thing, though, looking at that mid matchup play versus Nico, you want to have ways to attack mid. Braum can't really do that in this lane. Nautilus and Aphelios will have priority and will be able to move to affect mid. Won't be an option for Mirage Alliance with this Braum pick. So it's one where later on you're going to team fight well, have a lot of ways to likely proc winner's bite in these fights. But at the moment, the ability to affect that mid-lane matchup is something that I'm going to be looking out for, given it was so significant in Game 1. And even in this draft, if you can blow Hwei Flash and really continue to attack it, that is a winning strategy for me with Mirage Alliance.
Kind of like now the shoes on the other foot, where so Ligo's going to be the one to have the ability to really take Samikin out of this early game. And I think a large part of that is going to be what Dardoch pairs alongside it as well, because you're going to need something that can target mid lane rather easily. The Jin Zhao not going to be available, and neither is the Nocturne, as it was banned. And then, of course, Dardoch played this in Fearless in game number 1, so Fearless will take that off the board. And I would expect Blue Otter to ban away another jungler. I mean, Dardoch is a player that has been super strong in this jungle position in the past, and taking away another pick that could potentially impact that mid lane specifically would be big.
I do like some of the bans that are being thrown out to protect Alorum. Think about Alorum's pool with tanks, Aatrox Olaf being removed. That's pretty good. And also, I will say it's two of the bigger answers to something like a Renekton, which we have seen Alorum start to bust out, and a pick that I feel like is really, really strong in the current meta. So curious if we maybe see that blinded for Alorum, as that counter pick can go to Dardoch.
Or the Rek'Sai.
Oh, okay.
That's something
Rek'Sai.
that I know you're a big fan of. We were talking about how much we love this champion. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say Lawrence, like TF is an option, Nar's an option for Lawrence. I expect to see one of those two be the answer to Rek'Sai. I believe we saw Nar be the answer for Denethor when he was playing this into Rek'Sai, but TF is a pick for me that I think is still very doable and would give you that pressure to really try and find Nico, but also attack mid. That being said, it's Lawrence, it's Comfort's Gnar. It's going to be the selection.
I was going to say, with knowing Lawrence as the player, I was not expecting the ADTF to come out. The Gnar makes a lot more sense. You may struggle, especially if you are pushing waves too far in, and if Dardoch is able to attack you rather early. We saw actually that be the strategy that Blue Otter had against Winthrop when they were playing against Denethor's Gnar. But if you are able to survive that, we saw how big Denethor was able to be on this champion. And of course, it is one that both he and Lawrence are super comfortable on.
I have a feeling the music was flashing the Vi because he thought that might be the answer, but no, it's going to be Dardoch on a carry. It is the Kindred coming in, and this is something where Dardoch, if he is able to get ahead, you can pressure that Sejuani. So we have winning lanes right now for Mirage Alliance on the top side. Very early, they will be able to get push. And I want to see what they end up doing with Dardoch if they are able to actually find a lead they can use this time around.
Yeah, this early game going to be very important once again, kind of for different reasons, because Mirage Alliance have scaling this time in their pool, right? They have Neo's Jinx, they have Dardoch who can scale on the Kindred if he gets enough marks. Soligo even will be big in these team fights, but in terms of impacting these lanes early, making sure Lawrence and Samikin don't get too far ahead, I think that is going to be massive. And hey, hopefully Mirage Alliance have a better early game than they did in game 1, because it did not go according to plan last time.
No, it was pretty rough. And again, I want to see Mirage Alliance just be able to get into this tournament. They've yet to win a game. I think that they've had some pretty poor looks on the Riv. This was a team where myself and many others had expectations for them to promote, not be out like this. So we'll see if that can happen, or they can push us to a game 3 here, Grapes.
Backs now against the wall. I mean, it really is win or you're out. Your season is over. For Mirage Alliance, it's been a bit of a rough one since promoting in for their first split of Tier 2. course, had some roster changes at the beginning of the year, the struggles that they had in the regular season, and some more roster changes to bring them to this point. Getting a win on the board with these players definitely would mean a lot, just for at least ending your season on a little bit of a better note.
Well, it would be tough to see him go out like this, especially there was so much excitement about these guys promoting last year, myself included, with this core. You know, seeing players like Alorum, Dardoch come back, people that I still hold in pretty high regard when it comes to this game. At the moment, though, have a little bit of an invade going on as both teams trying to get down some scouting wards. Prismal will drop, and Dardoch gonna do his best to start Raptors and start the power clears. Looks like we're gonna have our junglers with mirrored starts here. Both of our junglers starting on their respective red buff sides, and Dardoch working his way bot, and we'll see if he tries to get up in the face of Sejuani early.
Another option could be to try to attack this Gnar early. I mean, it would be a big risk, but we talked about the solo lanes being potentially a little bit volatile and something that Dardoch could exploit. But when you're the Kindred, you want a full clear. Probably not going to be sacrificing that just maybe for an opportunity to burn Lawrence's flash or something like that. So we are going to see a little bit of trading back and forth, but plan so far is a full clear.
Yeah, Sejuani is going to be starting those AoE camps. So Sejuani going to be a little bit ahead in that early clear. And again, this bot side, this is one where the Jinx can get pushed early, but on the bounce, it can be very dangerous. Once you get the blue plus purple setup for Lynx on Aphelios, that is really when you're going to try and attack that bot side. And I do appreciate that Neo going up against the Sejuani and that side of the opt for the cleanse.
Oh, already, Lynx popping that Ghost, trying to stay alive after Mirage Alliance's bottom lane hit level 2 first. That's one of the 4 subs, and as we said, Dardoch is the one pathing bot, so small victories that could end up becoming larger ones if the situation goes the right way.
I think the game plan here is that for Sejuani, she's going to clear out that top Gromp, then base, and then head bot. If not, then maybe we see a potential Grub take, but at the moment, not what I think's in the cards, as Alorum will just start to clean up those waves topside and just sustain off of how fun the Burrow passive is, getting all your health back now with the changes.
Yeah,
literally all of it. Yeah.
I was talking about this. While it was the Gnar versus Rek'Sai matchup on a little bit earlier while watching the first day of games, and it's just ridiculous how much health this Rek'Sai is able to sustain, especially against Gnar, whose primary trading pattern is to throw a couple of autos out, like, you know, take 100, 200 HP off, and then Alarm can just heal that back up and just render him obsolete.
It is something where Gnar later on is really able to pressure Rek'Sai in the split push. I know we saw Denethor go for Terminus second, which I quite liked in that matchup to really punish the side lane, and Denethor was massive in that game. It's going to be massive for Winthrop in the series we have following this one, as them and Ole Miss, of course, will be playing the other elimination match later on in the day. We'll see if Blue Otter is going to be able to make sure that that game either comes now or Mirage Alliance pushing it later, as Saligo move on. Him in the mid lane is able to use that decoy to sneak on out.
Dardoch here as well. Did clear that Scuttle Crab already down to the bottom lane, so just making sure that Music is forced to go back to his second respawn of the Raptors, and hey, maybe he can get a little bit frisky here on the invade. Samikin does have push, and so Dardoch doesn't want to go too far forward, and already with Music posturing aggressively, it is going to be the Kindred walking away.
You get Rovex to walk up, though. We'll open up a base timer for his bot lane, so Dardoch, unironically, with that window of pressure, looks like he's going to sneak back top. There is a ward, though, that Blue Otters have spotted, so Samikin knew that if he didn't flash that, Dardoch would have been around. There is a ward on the Raptor respawn, so the scouting from Blue Otters maybe helping Samikin make the right decision to match the flash to Saligo and get out of that one.
And just having a match of flashes, not too bad if you're Samikin to prevent you from going down. Top lane, seeing Lawrence get a little bit risky, having to run away.
I will say it's not bad for Samikin, but this is something that I want to see Mirage Alliance try and punish. The Samikin being down that flash, you are playing this artillery mage, and it is worth noting that the win that Blue Otter picked up in that first series they played, it was really off the back of Samikin's way in that game one. It was massive, that game. So, as I talked about in draft, with that Nico mid, you can attack the way, that flash being removed. I think Mirage Alliance should have a game plan to get back and affect this mid lane. All
right, now it's going to be Music actually taking this first spawn of Grubs, so That was something that Dardoch was able to take from Mirage Alliance in game number 1. We'll see if he's able to match with the take of the Dragon on his own. So far, Neo and Prismal getting a little bit of a lead in terms of CS in this laning phase. They've had push for a majority of it. And so in the split match situation, Dardoch, I think, is in a good position to try to take this first break, which would be big for them.
Is a decent base for Neo and Prismal, and they do have a big wave, so Dardoch will take a pit stop to clear out his wolves, but I do expect for him to at least try and line up this Drake. I'm just curious is that there's going to be a visit mid before or not. Because again, as you called out, and attacking mids seems to be a big part of the potential plan here to make sure that this way does stay down in this matchup. But looks like Crab's probably going to be in the menu, as it will be the first mark for Dardoch if he is able to secure this.
Looks like he'll have it pretty handily. Yep. Music not really in the area, so potentially now making his way towards Dragon. We'll see what the decision-making process does look like in that regard. Both mid laners have ultimates now, so if they are able to roam down, could mean we could get a bit of a bloody one in terms of a fight. It's on its way too.
I do think an early fight should go over to Mirage Alliance, given that Hwei doesn't have flash, so I'd rather see Blue Water drop this.
They're thinking about it at least. Here comes Rovix and Lynx. Music also has the Glacial Prison, but it will be the Dragon secured here, and now Neo is excited. Had to go one way or the other, and all of a sudden Music might pay for it with his life. The zap comes through, and Neo has first blood for Mirage.
I mean, Sligos has the ability to walk from mid, so you're opting into a 4v3, and the CC chain from the Jinx Braum was played very well by Mirage Alliance, so Neo gets a bonus kill on top of the first Dragon, and now Samakin, no flash.
Pop Blossom comes out. Dardoch's on the way as well. Saligo gonna keep Samakin here as long as he can. Remember, the Hwei doesn't have flash. Spiraling Despair landing just onto the Kindred. Saligo can auto him down to death if he so pleases. It's just gonna maybe take a little bit of extra time without the Kindred there. Samakin on the complete wrong side of the map. Alorum gonna dash in as well. The Prey Seeker should be able to find it, but they want to feed the kill over to Dardoch. One more auto would do it. Samakin still alive. Gonna use the fear. Finally, Alorum gonna be able to finish it off.
All right, Mirage Alliance, welcome to the series. Welcome to the promotion tournament. Able to find a couple kills. I think that Samakin did his best to buy time, but he was punished for being in the wrong spot at the wrong time in mid lane, which opened up the ability for Mirage Alliance to chase him down. This feels like a good game plan coming out from Mirage Alliance. I think the big key for them now, Grapes, is can they deny the 6 grubs moving in? And also, we could have a potential answer here on a Music who was trying to get around that ward. Prismal throws the Unbreakable a little bit sideways, but looks like the Braum is enough power to get Neo back into lane. We'll be sacrificing 2 plates for that. It's a good bounce back from Blue Water, but still, Mirage Alliance, they have gold in the right place.
Yep. And Neo is going to be the big difference maker here. He's on the Jinx. Jinx just got buffed and everything like that. If Mirage Alliance want to win this game, it's going to be off the back of him specifically, and getting him that first blood was massive. And we'll see if we can finally see the Neo that was our co-MVP, actually, of the Summer 2023 Qualifier split.
Yeah, again, Neo on this Jinx. This comp is all about getting Jinx that first reset. Navis just by kind of being able to protect Jinx, not to mention that Dardoch be aggressive. I think Dardoch's waiting for a base. After that base, I expect him to be going for the Kraken Slayer. And this double Kraken comp against somewhat of a tanky health stacking front line here, Grapes. It's going to be something that's rather nice with really Braum plus Nico able to hold the line and have the circles to create space for this double marksman comp to thrive.
You mentioned how with the Rek'Sai top lane, it's best to be able to change CC a little bit. You can match it with the Winter's Bite of Braum, Saligo with the Pop Blossom as well. Front to back is going to work really well, and I think this is actually a game where Alorum on the tank Rek'Sai can benefit past the early game. And so you can see here with the gold, a little bit behind the rest of the squad, and Lawrence has that bit of an advantage for 20 CS lead, but still in a good spot.
Nautilus is here first for the grubs and does have 6. His level 6s are in across the board for Blue Water, but looks like it will be a sack. At least the first one. Denying 2 is the big key here for Dardoch. His Music will sneak in for the second. Yeah. Dardoch got it. Now he can drop this. Yeah.
No Twitch chatters, as Joshi likes to say.
Yep.
They're going to be gone here for this game. That's pretty big. A little extra pushing power, especially for a team like Blue Water, would definitely be important when you look at Having Lawrence in a side lane, things like that. Bot laners now going to trade a little bit. Oh, if that snipe landed from Lynx, Neo might have been dead.
Crystal's late on the rotation, stayed a little bit longer to make sure they were able to get the double grubs. Rovex, find the kill.
All it takes. Blow all the summoner spells, blow the ultimate, but it does not matter. The main carry is dead. That's another play going towards Lynx as well.
Maybe I'm getting nitpicky there, but I think the Ignite was a little bit of overkill. Could have given the kill over to Lynx if that wasn't dropped, but still, Jinx being removed from the map. Talked about how important Jinx is to this composition for Mirage Alliance. So that rotation for the grubs, not bad as Prismal. He's going to go in. Dardock's behind.
They're waiting for the Kindred to arrive. Prismal still taking a lot of damage, though. Winter's Bite lands onto Rovex. He misses the dredge line. And now the Nautilus will be the sacrifice.
Another stack going over to Kindred. I think that might be 3 now on Dardock's shoulders. Of course, 4 is a big break point. Love to check in on that. I think some people say 4 is when Kindred really becomes a champ. I very much disagree with that. I think Kindred's plenty much of a champ before that, but 4, you do get some bonus range, and that does help quite a bit.
Either way, very close to it, if not, 1 stack, maybe 2. He definitely got the one around the bottom lane Scuttle Crab.
You got a one on the top side, too, off that kill.
Okay.
First one, so we're close. But regardless, Dardock looking at the upcoming Dragon, as bot lane priority is in favor of Mirage Alliance. Samikin will get the push in mid first, but you can see Prismal Dardock spotted off a little bit of a blast cone. With this Dragon being up, I think it's really difficult right now for Blue Otters to contest.
We're going to try. Hook lands onto Prismal, but he's able to use the Unbreakable. Soak up a lot of damage and is escaped for now. Staff comes out. Dragon not going to be started up yet, but Mirage Alliance, they have all the players that they want in the position. They're just a little bit nervous if Music comes in for a steal.
Samikin did use his push mid to try and rotate behind. Okay, Lorem. Flash for Flash.
Goodness, yeah, Flash is already traded. Void Rush comes out. If Lawrence hits Mega Gnar, all of a sudden things get a little bit dicey for Alarm, and he's on the wrong side of the lane. Tunnels over. Lawrence lands another boulder, but not going to be able to find the ulti. Now, Mirage Alliance starting up this Hex Tech Drake. Samikin down here. Both top laners not going to be a part of this fight. Lawrence backing. He has teleport, but right now, the Drake's already taken down and it's in the hands of Dardock. Lamb's Respite comes out. Prismal going to be able to survive because of it. Lawrence is only going to be in mini-Gnar form, but he's dashing over the wall to try to make it a numbers advantage. There's the long-range snipe from Samikin to pick up the first kill. Rovex dashing forward as well with the hook. And it looks like Blue Otter are still on the chase. They're waiting for the full squad to arrive. All of a sudden, Dardock's in trouble. Top Blossom will find 2. Big stuns. Neo's excited. Mirage Alliance starting to come back here in this fight. Rovex gets eaten up by the Flame Choppers, and it's a double kill to Dardock.
Soligo had such a rough game 1, but a lot of sins were given there as he found 4 men with the root, another 2 with the Pop Blossom. Bought enough space for Neo to find the resets, and while all this was going on, Alorum didn't TP. He didn't have it available, so he just gets to sit top and farm plates.
Yeah, it was tough for Lawrence to join that fight again because he was just mini-Gnar. Didn't have a lot of tools to close the gap. We take a look at this Dragon fight again. Dardock gets the steal. And after this, things get a little hairy, but a nice ulti from him keeps Prismal alive.
And Prismal pretty much threw his ult off cooldown. He does go down in the end, but just keep your eyes on Soligo. Okay, we're not going to be able to see the 4-man route. The 4-man route was massive in the back half from Soligo. Turning that into a 2-man Pop Blossom. Big play coming out from him. I know he had a really tough game. 1 was really a big focus from Blue Otters. They played around him wonderfully. Now we have another fight as Prismal.
Another teleport, this time from Samikin. It's going to be matched by Soligo, but he's not there just yet. Prismal going to go down, and Mirage Alliance ceding their control around the Rift Herald.
I will say that Mirage Alliance going for that. They don't really have their ults up yet. You can see Prismal still coming off cooldown. Soligo's just came off cooldown. So I think maybe pushing a little bit too hard there. You can use your double marksman to try and play out the lanes and get push and use that to stall time for your ults to come back. So Mirage Alliance playing a little bit too quickly there. We'll drop the Rift Herald.
Another major objective, this time going towards Blue Otter as Mirage Alliance have been able to get the 2 Drakes. It's been grub advantage, and now this Rift Herald over to Blue Otter. Lawrence is getting caught, uses the ulti to shove Alarm and Dardock away, and he's going to be able to escape just fine. But right now, still a 2,000 gold lead for Mirage, and their double marksmen are where the gold is allocated. And as we said at the top of this game, that is where that gold wants to be.
I mean, check out how much gold Dardock has in this game. as him and Saligo are really top of the table. And a great bounce back game for them is game one. Really tough. Xin Zhao dying early, Ari being pressured the entire time. They're making up for it tenfold, and Dardoch being that true carry is, once he gets this Trinity Force, it's so easy for Kindred to push the pace of this game. And we're going to see Dardoch, I think, really get up in the face of Music in the jungle. Already has a level lead. I expect him to really push this forward. At the moment, we can see them actually going to attack Hui in the bot side. Samikin does have Flash, but it is the focus onto Hui for Mirage Alliance, whereas Blue Otter right now, they have their members up top trying to attack Lorem, but that's a tank. Samikin's the Hui. This is much easier for them to attack.
Not a wave under the tower just yet, but Samikin now very much knows what is going on. He might be left out to dry just a little bit. Pop Blossom goes over the top, and the Super Mega Death Rocket from Neo will give him his second kill. All the way from afar, it will be Samikin going down. The trade will be mid for Blue Otter.
This is a good answer. They're going to get 2 crashes off the Rift Herald and might be able to even push for an inner. So I think Mirage Alliance, this play was a bit telegraphed. Props to Blue Otter. I feel like they got the most out of this Rift Herald they possibly could. And while it is gold over in Neo's pockets, that is a really good punish from Blue Otter.
You know, they turned what could have been a bad trade into a rather even one as they get almost the entirety of that second tower. Will be Neo getting one down bottom and get another wave under the inner turret. Blue Otter, they really are focusing towards this top side. Been tough to kill Lorem so far, though.
I really like this from Mirage Alliance. Just you can't make plays into this Rek'Sai. That's really what makes Rek'Sai so strong right now in the meta. Just, again, all the health that she gets back. We've seen Blue Otter send 2-3 members up there twice. They haven't even attempted a dive, and there's never been a window for them. So I think Blue Otter, what I credited them for so much in game one, understanding how to attack Mirage Alliance's comp. The responses this time around haven't been quite as strong. And to be fair to them, they can't match Mirage Alliance right now. They are weaker. I don't know if things exactly get better for them. So this is going to be a really tough game for Blue Otters, as Lawrence is trying to fix this top side. They're hard committing for top side. As Prismal now, he's caught and he's dead.
Glacial Fissure comes out, but it's just delaying the inevitable. They give the kill towards Lynx, and both marksmen suddenly have 2 kills.
That's really nice, because I thought it would be really a play for the Dragon, as Blue Otters would try to contest, but no, they don't want to fight this. They still believe they're weaker, so they're hard committing to cross map. As our OQ team making some pretty solid decisions. They're going to find Alorem and force them off. That's going to be an inner taken again from Blue Otter. And the push is still continuing. They're dropping Soul Point, but they're getting so much gold back in their pockets.
A point I made before the promotion tournament to some people and also like on our podcast was that I thought CCG was the only team that really knew how to play sides well out of the qualifier teams that we were bringing up. But this is a good look from Blue Otter so far in this game. They're getting Lynx a lot of gold. He's suddenly at 2 full items on the Aphelios, although one of them is the Shiv, going to be less valuable in terms of fight, like a team fight potential. But, you know, they think that they're not in a position to take a fight. They're not going to take it, and instead get resources in other ways.
Shout out the podcast real quick, Crepes. Where are you at?
Yeah. Salty Run Back Pod.
There it is. All right. Promo yourself. You don't have to just say podcast. You can be honest about where you're at.
Our last episode, we did a situation where we tried to fill in what, like, different LCS player or NACL players could fit in different LCS spots. And so getting ready towards the offseason a little bit.
Removed.
Yeah. If imports
were removed.
And so, you know, maybe some of these players could actually fit in. I think we actually had Saligo as one of those players who could fill in. You know, a lot of experience, and so far, looking like that LCS player that we know him as from just a couple of years ago.
It's a much better look from game one. We'll leave it at that. There were some interesting things in that chart, but, you know, moving on. We do have a trade of outers, as Blue Otter will get some gold onto Samikin's shoulders. The bot side, but complete control over the Baron side of the map right now in the hands of Mirage Alliance. And with 3.5 minutes until that next dragon spawns, they're very happy to be where they're at this point of the game. You can see Dardoch, again, just being able to walk up and force Lawrence off. They got this wave all the way into bot, but being a little bit respectful of this. Sejuani Nautilus trying to rotate. Good find from Saligo as they push him out.
Yeah. That Tango Barbers was massive. If Music was able to get back in there, cause a little bit extra disruption, things could have gotten a little bit hairy. They do have Samikin on a reset, so there is no response in the bot side of the map after Mirage Alliance got all the way up to the top lane inner turret. Baron has just spawned. Lawrence still in Mega Gnar form, at least for a couple of seconds. Dardoch delayed a little bit, and he'll have to flash away after Rovex goes forward for the dredge line.
Yeah, really nice trade from Rovex. He has Hex Flash, and you just got a very high value flash out of that. So good push from Blue Otter. The back half of the play overextending for that inner turret, where Mirage Alliance ends up being punished a bit. Dardoch have to drop that. A little bit of a reset on the map. It's going to be a kind of a quiet series before this soul spawns. I think, fortunately enough, for Blue Otter, Chemtech Soul, not exactly the strongest soul you can roll. I will say that it has good synergy with Kindred. Because when you are low health on Lamb's Respite, you actually can benefit from the damage and the damage resist from that. So I don't think it's the worst role in the world for Mirage Alliance. It's not the strongest typically, but they do have some things on their comp that can abuse it. And so I'm assuming Blue Otter will contest that. At the moment, we're contesting the Oprah buffs.
Yeah,
here we go.
Now, Blue Otter going for the fight. Lynx so far untouched on the backline, but so is Neo as he joins and gets excited. Rovex goes down first. Alarm getting a double knock up on the backside. It's already 2 for Mirage. They're going to look for a little bit more, but the snipe from Prismal, he has to flash away as well. Lawrence now reaching Meganar, looking for another find, but Mirage Alliance going to be just okay with those 2 kills.
They did take down Smite, and they have red buff, but I don't think they have the health bars to actually start the Baron, as Lawrence will try and scout. Saligo does a nice job of sidestepping it. Is that enough? Yeah, they're going to TP Alorum in. Here we go.
Jess Music is now down. Rovex is going to be delayed. The primary damage dealers for Blue Otter are still alive. Lawrence on the Gnar is exhausted. He will not be able to reach Mega Gnar for a little bit. Baron's already at 4,000 HP. The objective surely will go down. Saligo pops the Pop Blossom, but a nice bit of crowd control will stop him, but will not stop Mirage Alliance. Samikin now has to flash away. Link's in a lot of trouble as Alorum dashes forward on top of him. Mirage control the Baron, and they almost had themselves another kill.
Now it's Baron buffed. They can use that to set up the wave, set up the map for their Dragon Soul. And nice fight from Mirage Alliance. I think the take from Blue Otter, Lawrence just wasn't at the fight in time. Okay, we're going to get the back half of the Baron play. This is pretty done and dusted, as nice Anya's from Saligo to make sure that this actually does get Jinx the reset. The rocket does go wide, but the fight before that, to me, was far more interesting, as Lawrence wasn't there. Neo was able to auto. Lynx got to the fight late, so I think that deploy from Mirage Alliance trying to contest the buffs, they just had members there first, and they're already ahead, so it ended up being a very easy fight for them.
Now, what can they do? 2 minutes left on this Baron buff. The Dragon, as you mentioned, spawning in 30 seconds. They're doing a good job at pushing Blue Otter out of their own jungle for now. They'll be able to pick up the red buff, but now the Vision game does still belong to our NACL representative. 20 seconds now the counter. Blue Otter trying to get pushed mid. Lynx is at red-white guns, and now Rovex gonna dash in. Prismal the target. He's fleed away. Spiraling Despair on top of him. A big Gnar over the wall. Dardoch suddenly in trouble. He popped the Lamb's Respite, but look at Saligo on the other side. He has the Pop Blossom on the Lynx. The main character, Blue Otter, is down. The resets come through. It's a double for Alorum, and now Mirage Alliance are looking to awaken here in the promotion tournament. They get 4 kills with the Baron buff still in tow.
Well, Norm is right. Just put Neo on Jinx and things are cool, as Mirage Alliance did a nice job of holding the door for Neo in this game. Have the option to go do the Drake. I think they're going to try and take this inhibitor turret, maybe inhib and then retreat to it. But so far, this game, much better look for Mirage Alliance. And I think that this identity of the comp, the fact that Dardoch is able to farm and get big in this, as well as Saligo being so solid on this Nico Grapes, I feel like he's been the real difference. Game 1, he was just attacked. Every Ariel was defensive. He never had a chance to be proactive on the map. This time around on the Nico, he's been a big difference maker.
And it's Prismal maybe starting this fight by going a little bit too far forward. Rovex looked to go for that engage, but watch Lawrence specifically in this fight. He has a good Gnar ulti, but Neo is just not a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, moving forward, Prismal, he just catches the engage on Braum. His ult is really high value, and I like the angle here from Lawrence. Like, it's a good start to the fight, but Lynx has no help, and Saligo's TP is way too damn good to make sure that Lynx can't do anything. So, really well done here by Mirage Alliance to make sure this fight went their way.
So 2 new additions for this Mirage Alliance team, Neo and Saligo. They were not part of the roster that, finished 10th place in the NACL, and so far they are delivering. They are the mercenaries that are succeeding so far in this game number 2. Gold lead now at 8k. Blue Otter looking for another fight around the top lane. Inner turret. Pop Blossom will land on to Rovex, and that is the first kill of the fight. Lynx throws out the Moonlight Vigil. It will force Prismal away, and now Alorum might have gone too far forward. He's stuck in a 1v4, and it will be a shutdown to answer back.
No wave, so they couldn't follow up Alorum. He does go in too deep, and that's actually a trade up for Blue Otters. Lynx has a flash if they want to think about playing this one out. As Prismal is actually going to catch something with Unbreakable.
Oh, look at Dardoch. He's just jumping forward. Salmonkin gets burst by the Super Mega Death Rocket. The nice Tangle Barbs lands onto Lynx. And that's 2 more kills into Mirage's back pocket as the carries for Blue Water are down.
Feels like whenever Blue Water has an angle, Mirage Alliance just immediately shuts the door. As this comp stand together, I don't know how Blue Water can beat it at this point. They have to try and one-shot Dardoch, who is 3 levels up in the jungle on this Kindred Grapes. And honestly, I'm really interested to see this Game 3 that I feel like is coming up quite soon. Do we have Dardoch again on a carry? Because he has been such a difference maker in this one. It feels like he's been really good at getting his resources on the map and also just keeping the pressure up. He's been on time to every objective, just outpacing the Sejuani. And this is a matchup where I feel like the game really changed when the mid jungle went in favor of Mirage Alliance. And Zigo was actually able to do something.
Yeah, and Dardoch now very strong, of course. Level 15, just picked up the Terminus. Turns out he's pretty good when he's playing the jungler, right? I mean, I guess the last time we saw him play was actually in the CeeLo Grand Finals with UST. He played jungle there, played pretty admirably, and if he wins this game, he'll have an opportunity to potentially match up against his former teammate in Shogo if Ole Miss is able to move on later on tonight.
He's got to win 2 for that so far, but it sure looks like this one's done and dusted, as I believe that's the cursed phrase. Prismal, Alorum. They have Rek'Sai to spot everyone, so it's so tough to find any angle on this double marksman comp as well with the Kindred. I actually think this comp is really well put together by Mirage Alliance.
Oh, look at
Siligo. Very good.
They have no idea. They have no idea. 3-man Pop Blossom from the Nico. Salmonkin goes down and is just an all-out wipe. Alorum picks himself up a double kill. Lynx is going to go down as well. Neo taking over the Rift here in game number 2. It's a clean ace for Mirage Alliance as they pick up their first win of the NACL promotion tournament.
Yeah, we got to end this one. Welcome to the tournament, Mirage Alliance. This was really why people were excited about this team. You have Dardoch as this carry jungler, Neo, a marksman that we felt like would be very strong in this tournament. And when he is given the tools, when Dardoch is given space to operate, it was a very strong look for Mirage Alliance. I feel like the combination is that draft, how they played out map and some of those objectives, ended up being a game almost as easy as the first one looked against them for Blue Water.
Yeah, and I think Blue Water can be happy because it's Fearless. Not going to see that jinx for Neo again.
Yeah.
But still a lot of other strong marksman threats, and I think Mirage Alliance, if they can continue a similar draft composition and playstyle, are going to be in a good position for this game number 3.
I'm expecting to see Dardoch potentially again on a carry or a matchup where he can pressure. I think that was a big difference from game 1 to 2, and I'm interested to see if Blue Water grabs red side to try and deny that.
Yet another game 3 here in the promotion tournament. We like to go the distance here, it seems. And another one here between Mirage Alliance and Blue Otter. The loser of this next game will have their spring split end. We'll see who it is after this break.
Introducing the new foot-long sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious foot-long cookie, foot-long pretzel, or foot-long churro.
I mean, all I'm gonna say is like, I'm 100% win rate in the promotion tournament. That's like where I shine the most.
I was expecting to do a lot better than 9th place. We didn't really click very well towards like the middle of the season. We kind of got in our own heads a little bit. And that kind of showed in our games.
Our team always said like, oh, we're not a scrim team, we're a stage team. So as soon as we lost that first match, it was like a reality check.
Obviously, it didn't go well. No one would say that our season went well. Individually, I had pretty solid performances, more toward the first half than the second half. A lot of us are pretty happy with the way the roster has ended up for this promotion tournament, and we picked up more pieces that we're more confident in and that are binding as players better together. There's not as much conflict as there was. So I think the only result that can happen is that we're going to promote again.
Well, my last run in the promotion tournament was awesome. We were like the big underdogs. We came up, beat all the best teams, and promoted. So that was really awesome. Honestly, like I just want to live that moment again because that was probably one of the best moments like in my career, just winning that promotion tournament. We only need to win 2 best of 5s to keep ourselves alive. I'm pretty confident about that. I'm not going to lie.
Even though we're relegating this time around and start promoting, we're not nervous or anything. I'm like pretty confident.
Like the level of play, it's not insanely high, and I think that we can get to a point where we're pretty safe. It's a stressful environment, but we've you are used to that kind of environment. We've been there before. Some of us, we've already promoted before. So if we've done it once, why can't we do it again? While some of the other teams, they haven't really been in these high tense situations. For example, I'd say like CCG have a lot of newer players, and I think maybe the nerves might get to them, maybe they won't, but you know, it's something to think about at least.
We didn't watch any of the games, but we did scrim 3 out of the 4 teams in qualifiers right now.
I haven't really watched it too much. Not gonna lie, like if at all. As long as I am focused on myself and going into game and I'm confident, like it doesn't really matter who my opponent is. I'm confident I'll beat them.
I have watched the qualifiers. I've seen what everybody's capable of. I've seen how teams have grown. I don't know whether to be thankful or to be disappointed, because I would be sweating if I had to play against Yujin. I'd be getting my handkerchief out and wiping sweat off my forehead if I had to play against that guy.
I don't want to beat Winthrop. We have like a 0% win rate against them. I became pretty close with them during the time I was in NACL, so like I banter with a lot of their teammates.
What do you think about Yukino over on CCG?
I mean, he's a good player though. He eagles too much. Yukino, I'm capping you, bro. You better watch out.
Crimson has gotten a lot better over the past 2 to 3 years. He has grown a lot in top lane. Like, he's a formidable player now, and in fact, I would expect to see him in an ACL pretty soon.
All the bot lanes are actually pretty good, so I'm excited to play against all of them. I love Shoga. I'm excited to play against him. Lynx and Instinct. And Mobility is really good too, so I'm just excited to take them all down.
We all have different goals, but I know me and Rockman especially are trying our hardest because we want to get into LCS. In order to do that, we kind of have to keep our position in NACL and not relegate. So just trying our hardest to just perform and showcase our skill again for next split.
I think we're keeping our spot because we are the better players. As robotic of an answer as that was, it's just the truth.
To be honest, the end of the season was pretty rough for us. We took a week break and kind of everyone just focused on themselves a little bit. We all kind of relaxed a little bit, focused on ourselves, got better overall, and then going into the next week of scrims, we started to do a lot better. So I'm excited to see how that continues with the rest of the week of scrims going into the promotion tournament.
And shout out to my teammates. I mean, we've gone through a lot. Even if we relegate or don't relegate, it was fun, right? I guess. Had fun with all of you guys.
Just want to say, don't count me out. Like, I'm coming. They just added Jinx into the meta. Hyperkires are back. Like, it's over for you guys.
Oh, I've been on losing teams more than like anyone else in NACL. You know, I was on Team Gates, I was on Phoenix 1, I was on Optic, I was on Immortals. I know how to keep strong mental.